Okay, what's up? I'm back online, looks like. Okay, let's test this. Alrighty. Get my chat window. Choose. Let's see, start that. Okay, so how's it going, Fi?
Oh, that's pretty good. Let's see. So I got very inspired when I saw your videos. Like, I started this year. Beginning of this year, I was like, I gotta find some way to get some of these resources for this type of architecture for domes. You know, they're very nice.
Yeah, so you are looking to build your own dome home now? Is what you...
Yeah, it's gonna be put in place.
Okay, nice. What size dome are you looking for?
Oh yeah. I looked at the April project you had.
Yeah.
And I think that one's a pretty good size down to the 16 foot.
Yeah, 16 foot is nice. 200 square feet works out really nice. So are you thinking Aircrete, or are you thinking reinforced concrete shell? Like, what are your thoughts as far as the type of structure?
I think, let's see, you can get the double shell, get the Aircrete and the cavities. So I think that one's pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. That is a good one. It's pretty quick, and it's not a lot of money at all to build compared to a regular traditional stick frame house.
Yeah.
So what state you thinking about building in?
Yeah, Georgia.
Oh, okay, so you got some
on the east side.
You got some good weather.
Yeah.
So have you looked into my website? Because I have the online workshop there on how to build everything from your template to your airforms, applying the cement and all. A lot of tips and tricks.
I don't think I have. Let me see.
Yeah, it's aircreteharry.com, and on there you'll see all the different workshops. I mean, you'll see the different workshops I have.
Good workshop.
Okay, here we go. So you can see right here on my website, aircreteharry.com, I have the online video tutorial, and so we have for the $4.99, we have 15-hour class on building dome, airforms, foundations, multiple techniques as far as using Aircrete, using concrete, using Epic Mix, and yeah, I put a lot of thought into this workshop, and pretty much everything you need is in that workshop. Besides that, all the future projects I'll be doing, I'll be adding to this course. So anyone who has this course or is thinking about purchasing the course will have more information added to it as I create it. So that's the online course there. Good morning, off-grid dome living. Good day, Ralph. Yeah, so the other beauty of that double shell dome is the speed. You know, it's very fast to build. You know, once you have all the equipment and you're ready to go, the actual time to build is pretty quick. Especially if you got good weather. It helps a lot for the cement to set and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like, once I started, it's like, look into the week's weather, make sure nothing's going to get in the way.
Yeah.
So I can complete the flow of the build.
Yeah, you know, because it's a low pressure system using the Tyvek as an airform, you just have to slowly build up your layers, which will build up the strength. And so because of that, it'll take anywhere from 1 to 3 days to finish spraying, because you got to do you got to allow the cement to set in between. And yeah, otherwise with the good weather you could do multiple sprays in one day. That's another benefit of that system, is being able to spray it. Yeah, Ralph, up early. I wanted to get up early today to get people a chance to get online here and chit chat. I didn't want to do it too late today. So anyone in the room, join into the Zoom call. You can click on the Zoom link and come on in, and we can chit chat. Let's see. And the other thing to consider is making it a passive system. So incorporating, if you have the ability to dig a trench that's 200 feet long, even if it's a zigzag 200 feet, you could run tubing in.
I've seen all types of like natural structures, and I'm pretty sure you probably know earth ships.
Yeah.
With like our reinforced with like the ground, soil, with the galvanized steel pipe that runs through the back of it.
Right.
And like it cools down.
Yeah.
That's good.
So they've been using that system for a while, but the big difference is how much time the air has to uh, transfer the heat, from the earth. So they usually use like a 20-foot covert or so, but I'm talking about 200 feet, so that you're guaranteed to get the same temperature air all the time from the earth, whether it's summer or winter out. You'll have that 52-degree air coming in through that corrugated tubing, which is why I'm a big fan of that system.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. I don't know if I'm just too early here. Maybe it's too early for people on YouTube's. I figured it was a cold day across the USA. It's cold here. What's my weather? Oh, it's 24 degrees. Yeah, it's freezing cold outside off-grid dome living.
Kind of left there.
What was that, Fly?
Yeah, I was gone for a chat for a bit. Trying to figure out this camera. There we go. So I got a picture of the 16-foot dome.
Okay.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Ralph. Oh, you got a 16-foot dome example from Monolithic. That's from the website.
Yeah, they have a nice calculator.
Yeah. It's actually one of my favorites. I play with that all the time, all different shapes.
Yeah.
Okay. Wowzers. Yeah, so you're looking at probably, $1,500 to $2,000 to build that 16-foot double shell Aircrete dome, which is really reasonable.
Yeah.
Harry, what do you fill the double shell with? Is
Aircrete.
that filled with Aircrete?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
You use your
Aircrete.
epic mix on the inner and outer, and then fill the center with the Aircrete?
Actually, the double shell dome is really meant for Aircrete only and cement. I mean Portland cement and sand. So a stucco mix. You could do the epic mix, but it's really not necessary because the idea behind the double shell Aircrete dome is not needing to deal with the styrofoam and shredding styrofoam and all that stuff. So if you're someplace where you can't get styrofoam, you could always just build a double shell Aircrete dome and fill the cavity with Aircrete. And so it's much better system like that.
Yeah. I was a framer for 35 years. I'm all fused up in my low back. So my design for my Aircrete dome is I'm going to do the blocks where it goes together like an igloo.
Yeah.
I think that'll work best for my situation.
I mean that's the whole thing, and that's part of what I've been showing on my channel is there's a lot of different ways of building a structure, and you got to do whatever works for you. So doing the blocks is gonna help you because it's gonna make your life easier. Then obviously that's the direction you got to go in. I just don't like the time that it takes, because you have to make each block. Depends on how many forms you have. You can only make but so many blocks a day.
Yeah.
Which is fine, if you're pacing yourself, like for me, I couldn't stand it.
I like the fact that you have used to a bucket truck now. That'll save you a lot of time.
Yeah, the bucket truck is a massive saver because the whole thing with spraying the domes, probably even laying the bricks, is getting to the peak of the dome to spray it. And that for me was the biggest hurdle, because even the first sketchy scaffolding that I put up to spray the dome was only to be able to get to the top and really spray it good, because it's important to get a good spray on it, because your strength comes from you can look at spraying the top of the dome like putting in the keystone in an arch, because the dome is an arch that's 360. So your keystone is important, and that's the spraying the top, so you're connecting the walls of the dome. Once you make that connection, you made your arch, and now you can feel safe and secure that you've built a solid structure because you're coming all the way up. Even if you wanted to put a skylight in, you would make some reinforcing ring and put that in the center and have your walls come up to that ring. You know, and you'll still have your skylight, so you could put, you know, an acrylic or whatever type of lighting window you want in the skylight.
Yeah. How would let me ask you, how would you connect your domes together and build them, you know, where you have a big archway, but build them separately and not have to do it all monolithically?
Yeah, so that's simply building a form that's easy to work with. So you don't want to make it too big where it's difficult to work or to turn. So basically just building an arch and spraying it, and then you would connect it with fabric with like a mesh. You would connect the arch to the actual dome. So it's very similar to the way I built the double shell Aircrete dome, because I made that arch that was for the doorway. But just as an example, once that arch was covered with cement and it cured, you could take the arch out, slide it out, and extend it if you wanted. Or in my case, what I'm doing with my dome home is I'm building a hallway tunnel around the main 24-foot dome. And so, yeah, all the other domes would connect to that hallway tunnel. So yeah,
I'm kind of thinking like where you would have like 3/4 of a circle connected. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For like a little ball pad or something.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that would be great.
Yeah.
And
my house is on a hillside here. I gotta do like mini like a tri-level or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To work with the ground, so I'm not estimating so much dirt.
Yeah, dealing with those slopes is always a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
But
luckily I have equipment. I got a track loader and a backhoe, so.
Okay, that always pays.
Yeah, my days of operating a shovel by hand, they were over when I was a teenager.
Oh yeah, I hear that, man. I have no interest in doing a lot of manual labor work if I can avoid it.
So what's the topic for today?
It's an open topic. Whatever you guys want to talk about.
I like the videos that you do with the Biodigesters.
Yeah.
I really like a lot of his designs.
Yeah, he makes some beautiful organic looking designs, you know. His whole thing is bioarchitecture, to have everything very organic and flowy like. Yeah, it looks really pretty, those designs.
Yeah. I plan on making a biodigester and you know, utilizing the methane from that. I don't want to be connected to the grid here at all. You know.
Oh yeah, I'm with you.
Something about accepting benefits and privileges.
See, I bought a biodigesting system from Home Biogas. It's a basically like a bag system, you know. And I
Yeah,
haven't set it up.
you know,
I haven't set it up yet because I needed to build a structure around the bag because we have bears and mountain lions, and
oh
yeah, I know they would.
would.
Yeah, they would smell it and just rip that thing apart, trying to get to what they think is food inside. And so yeah, so I didn't set it up, but my thought process was I wanted to build a permanent system, you know, underground, and so anyway, that was my thinking, was to come up with a design where I can have a biodigesting tank underground that's a permanent, you know, concrete structure instead of this bag system. You know, I know the bag system works because, you know, there's plenty of videos out there, people using it, but I wanted something more permanent and maybe a little bit larger than what that tank could provide. But yeah, I'm with you with the
I've seen
methane
a lot,
gas.
like overseas and where they have like huge tanks that are dome capped, and the methane gets trapped in that, and it like lifts it up, so you know how much is in there, and that's where you get your pressure and stuff from.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen that also with the tank that lifts up. Yeah, and that's interesting too.
The thing we have to worry about is production of it in the wintertime. You don't get much production. And it slows down the production of the methane. You know, because a lot of times you need heat to react it, but I'm sure there's a workaround with that. You know?
Yeah, yeah. The workaround I came up with.
A constant, what, 52-degree temperature? You know,
Right.
that's consistent. Doesn't take much to heat it up from there.
The workaround that I came up with for that was to run a PEX tubing under the tank and have that PEX tube, you know, coil it and have that tubing come up to a solar hot water heater. So you can have a little 6-volt water pump pumping your antifreeze fluid through it so it doesn't freeze in winter, and you know, a little solar hot water system to heat the tank up so that it's better for the microorganisms, you know. So in the 50s would be too cold for it, so I think ideally it needs to be like in the 70s would be the
70s,
ideal. Yeah, 70s and 80s. So that was, you know, I've thought about that as well.
Or something like that, you know. Your fermentation is optimal, usually around 80 degrees.
Right.
You know, you get it too hot and then it kills the microorganisms, and if it's too cold, they're just as slow and don't multiply.
Yeah, and if you have animals, putting all the animal poop and stuff in the tank would also help to make the more methane gas. Like I saw a system in Colorado. This guy had 2 8-foot diameter, 8-foot tall tanks buried in the ground, and he had a commercial kitchen that was rented out that used the methane gas that was created from their biodigester. But they were adding something like 250 pounds of animal waste a day, because, you know, I guess whatever animals they had, they were you know, collecting all that waste and adding it to the tank. So they had a lot of, you know, waste to make a lot of fuel, a lot of methane.
It's kind of hard to do on a smaller scale. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is, because like you mentioned, you won't make much gas if it's just you, alone, with whatever food scraps you might add and stuff. So it definitely helps to have animals or to have neighbors who have animals, so you could get your methane fuel.
Yeah, what's nice is that a byproduct of that, the waste byproduct is actually good for your shrubbery and trees and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's a really good fertilizer that's made from that. And like you mentioned, like for the shrubs and things outdoors, I've heard. Well, I don't know. I think that's great stuff to use as fertilizer for everything. Yeah, I mean that's part of the point of doing the biodigesters, not just the methane, but also that fertilizer or black gold that comes from it. It's supposed to be really good.
Yeah, once my place is established, I want to make me a greenhouse, and bury a large pipe in the ground and pull the air through.
Yeah.
And have it come up into the greenhouse, and then I'm going to also do a dehumidifier, a supercharged dehumidifier, so I could also produce water from the greenhouse with the hot air that's outside, but going through the ground and being vacuumed up. What do they call that system?
You talking about like a radiator? Yeah, or like a.
Where the hot air rises, convection or something?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do a system like that for some greenhouses.
Okay.
I tried doing some water collection here, and I filled up 2 of my 275-gallon totes, and in 2 days, that water turned freaking neon pink.
Wow, in 2 days.
Yeah, I don't trust the rain with what they put in the skies here. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely, because that's a big concern of mine also, and I started making my plans for having good clean water, and part of my plan was to distill my water. I was gonna have 2 water tanks, one for collecting the water that I haul, right? But that water, I don't do rain collection, but if I did, I would use that same tank for rainwater. And then the idea is then to distill the water, and all the distilled water would go into another tank, and that would be for the house. So my dream and vision for water is to have a big tank, probably like one of my eggs that I'm going to make, an egg tank, which is 8 foot diameter by 11 feet tall, works out to about 4,000 gallons. I want to distill all my water and have distilled water in the tanks that's used for the house, used for cleaning, for everything, drinking, because distilled water is actually really good for you. For years we were told not to drink distilled water, not to drink a lot because it would wash the minerals out of your system or whatever nonsense. But the fact is, distilled water will actually clean your system really well.
That was just a way for them to get the fluoride in us.
Yeah.
Keep us complacent.
Yeah, they don't want you drinking stuff that's good for you. Like whole milk. Whole milk straight from a cow. They can't have you drinking that. They got to kill it and then to give it to you to drink.
Yeah, when I was younger, my dad used to farm me out to the dairy farmer. So 3 o'clock every morning, they'd come pick me up and milk the cows, and I brought 7 gallons home every day.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I've been wanting to get a source of whole milk locally. I just haven't connected with the right people yet. But like, there's a lot of things when it comes to
Do you
people
have
who are
any
like.
Mennonites or Amish in your area?
Say that again.
Do you have any Mennonites or Amish in your area?
If I do, I don't know anything about it. But I don't think
Okay.
this. Usually they stay in groups, you know. So I haven't heard of any
Well,
communities.
some of them will open up a PMA, and they can supply you with what you need if you're a private member, but they can't do it to the general public.
Yeah, I know. That's the whole legality of that nonsense. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's something else. Because a lot of people who are lactose intolerant wouldn't be if they had whole milk, because they would have all the enzymes and everything that the milk has to avoid that.
Exactly. Exactly. And just like people that are diabetic, uh, it's because they're not getting the bran and the germ in the wheat that they're eating. You know, if they were just to grind the whole seed itself, they separate all that stuff out and give that to the cattle. You know, and they just give us the flour itself that doesn't have no bran or germ in it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, I've heard of cases where people eating ice cream could simply put a tablespoon of whole milk on their ice cream and they would not have a lactose intolerant issue.
Wow, yeah.
So, yeah, that is interesting.
Hey, how much did that your garage cost you?
The airform,
No,
the canvas, the cover, the
Yeah.
canopy cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like $1,900 when I bought it.
Wow. That's not too bad. It went way up since then, I reckon.
Yeah, it's definitely gone up. I think we're working with a company called Covermore, and they're a U.S. based company, and we've been referring people to them, you know, letting them know to tell them Aircrete Harry referred them, so that we get a little kickback for referrals. And
Cool.
but yeah, they're selling the covers, and they have probably some of the best deals for those shipping container covers. And we've had ours, you know, since 2019, and it's still working great, you know, because we get heavy winds, ton of snow here, and
Yeah, we have the similar climates here in Hornbrook. I had planned on doing like a super adobe shop and kind of like bury it into the hillside. So I'm trying to figure out what I can do for my ceiling and my roof, but yet put the dirt back on top of it. That's going to take some serious engineering there.
yeah, definitely. But you know, that's completely doable.
Yeah.
I've been talking to Mrs. Aircrete about covering the covers we have with concrete to make it more permanent. And anyway, that's something I'm considering doing maybe next year, because the cover's been working great.
With like Aircrete.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it with Aircrete. The cover's been working great. I just, you know, I don't know what the time frame of that cover is before it's not working great anymore. And so my thought is to cover it with a stucco coating, cover it with a mesh, a wire mesh, or some kind of mesh, basalt, fiberglass, wire mesh. Probably a wire mesh because it's the least expensive. Like either stucco wire.
Just use that as a form.
Yeah, and that's exactly
just use the cover as a
plan.
form, and then build your eggshell cover on top of that.
Yeah.
Build it up.
Yeah, exactly. I just cover it. But my plan was to run the stucco wire mesh up and over the arch, down the top of the shipping container, and then down, and make it all monolithic. So when I spray, I'll be spraying the containers, the roof of the container, and then up over the cover will get sprayed. So it's all one monolithic concrete shell.
Yeah. I seen a video where they did like a Quonset, and they used Aircrete on that with rebar and all kinds of crazy stuff, and they backfilled it all with dirt. Like, wow.
Yeah.
And they were driving tractors on it with the dirt.
Yeah.
Crazy.
There's some pretty cool stuff. Some pretty cool stuff out there. Okay, I lost connection there for a second.
Oh. I was talking about wells out there. You said there's a lot of issues with them from fracking.
Yeah, the water's bad, so no one has wells out here, water wells by me.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it is.
They contaminated the water system underneath the ground in the area you're at.
Yeah, exactly. So one idea I've had, and the technology's already been proven, one idea I had was to, instead of holding water or collecting rainwater, was to make water from air. And they have a lot of different machines out there for making water from air.
I have a PDF file I could send you. That's what I'll talk about. It's like a supercharged humidifier. And if you do it inside of like a greenhouse or something, that'll increase your humidity. And it puts out over 80 gallons a day with the system. So if you supercharge it with a greenhouse, I would think that you could get, 120 gallons a day.
Yeah. Because even now I have a humidifier that will easily make like 5 gallons of water a day. And so like you said, supercharge it, And so there's also a guy in Texas, Moses West is his name. He invented a water from air machine, and his is probably the most effective system that I've seen, because he can make, obviously depending on humidity. So if you're in Texas where you have pretty high humidity, he could make something like 1,800 gallons of water a day with his machine.
Nice.
And so
unfortunately, here where I'm at, we'll be lucky if we have 10% humidity. That's a muggy day.
Yeah, but even with that, you could still get water out of the air, and then you could probably do systems. You could probably build something like a ditch, or have the system be inside of a basement where maybe it'll be a little more humid.
Yeah.
And Yeah, so I really like that idea. I'm thinking like that guy sells his machine. I think starting price is like $25,000, and so
Ouch.
it's not that bad when you consider a lot of people digging wells spend more than that. You know,
Oh yeah.
obviously depending on the depth. So I'm
Yeah.
like,
No,
if you get a
that's
quote
it's,
for like $30,000 well, and then you see a machine here for 25,000 that you could take with you anywhere in the world and produce water. For
yeah.
me, financially, it makes more sense to get the machine than to dig the well. And the other thing is with the well, it's not the same case for everywhere, but it might be a situation like mine where you can't dig a well because the groundwater is bad. And so in a situation like that, it's nice to have an option of a machine like this. Now, obviously, if the machine is able to produce 1,800 gallons of water a day and you're at 10% humidity, I'm fine with 50 gallons of water. That's even 25 gallons of water a day is a lot
Yeah.
of, would suffice, depending on my needs. But you're producing
Yeah.
that every
My
day
wife
and
and I we
storing
use
it.
about 275 gallons a month.
Yeah, so if you had a machine like that and you only got 10% air humidity, you'll still be able to produce your water. My camera adjusted on me. Okay. Yeah, so my other thought behind that was if there's a machine built that is that efficient at producing water from air, water from the humidity in the air, then what about and again, that last time I checked, it was like 25 grand starting for the machine. My thinking is that technology could be kind of scaled up in a sense for a base station at home, for a home base water producing unit. I feel like I don't know exactly how that machine works, but we're basically looking at like a radiator coil where air can pass through and there's a temperature difference that creates condensation on the coils that are then collected into a containment unit, a tank.
Yeah.
So like if I knew exactly how the machine worked, that's a portable unit that was designed to be compacted and portable, and we just open that up, figure out the components
Supercharger.
and supercharge it, because again, that's for a unit to be portable. I don't need to be portable on my property. So if I could build
Yeah.
a room with whatever technology's in there and just have a room built, then I imagine we could still produce for far less money, maybe just for a few $1,000s. You could build a base unit that's not portable that would do the same as that portable unit, or even close to it. Even if it only does a few hundred gallons a day, that would be superb. And so a unit like that, if that could be figured out, that would be great for anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world, because now what most people do when looking for property is they're looking to find out, is there a water source? Can you do a well? Is there a stream or river or a spring? So water is a big consideration when people are looking to build a homestead or just a home somewhere. Now with a device like that, that's no longer an issue. So you can find a piece of property on the top of a mountain and not be concerned with being able to get water because you could produce your own water from the air. And then obviously you have a nice filtration system because, like you mentioned, with all the chemtrails that are sprayed in the air, you don't want to have that directly. So that's why my idea is collect that water, filter it, distill it, filter it again, and then put it in your tanks and then use it. So we have the purest, cleanest water as possible. And as far as minerals and all that nonsense, I'll get that for my food. I don't need it in my water. It's fine.
FY, how's it going?
Hey, pretty good. I was just hearing that talk. I like that. Getting that water from that air.
Well, that's what they did. That's what they did in the desert when they were fighting those wars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine that specialized in that. Yeah, I plan on, making my little homestead, as self-sustaining as possible. I wanna grow grapes, I wanna grow, fruit trees and all that. I wanna have my gardens. With the stuff they spray in the sky, I think I'm just gonna do a bunch of greenhouses, because a friend of mine was growing some cabbage and stuff, and he would go out there and white powder on his plants after they spray this. So I don't know. I'm a little paranoid about that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. You have every right to be paranoid too.
Yeah, and I also want to do like microgreens and mushrooms. There's good money in mushrooms, and you can pretty much grow any wild mushroom in a containment nowadays.
Yeah, I was interested.
I've seen that machine there.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's Moses West, and that's his water from air machine. You can see it just pumping water out. Like I've seen the patents also that he applied for, his patents. It's you still gotta know what you're doing. All you get is real basic information with the patents. I haven't looked at them. I looked at the patents the first time I saw his device online. I looked it up to see how, what information I could glean from the patents. And it wasn't nothing I already knew. I've been around tons of air conditioning units, especially on roofs, the big 1,000 pound air conditioning units, and you see all the condensation and all the water that they create.
I was born in Philadelphia, grew up in Delaware, and you don't survive without air conditioning back there.
Yeah, so I figured this system could be simplified, Again, I don't know exactly how it works. I haven't seen the patents in a long time. I'd have to refresh my memory by looking at them again. But you can see right here, here's the radiator. Right, here's the radiator here. So basically all that's happening is some kind of refrigerant. It could be just simple ammonia. Some type of refrigerant is flowing through here, and there's fans blowing the air across this radiator, and it's you can see it's producing water. It's just like an air conditioning unit. So,
Yeah.
you know, and like whether you know or not, ammonia was used as a refrigerant for. I first heard about it for the Hoover Dam when they were building the Hoover Dam to cool the concrete down. They would run tubing that ran ammonia through it, and so that was, you know, that was a cooling system.
Yeah, you heat ammonia up, and then it reacts and cools down. That's how RV refrigerators work. They're sealed ammonia units.
Right, yeah, exactly. I didn't even think about that. I'm in my RV now, and yeah, we have it's a gas system. And it was wild. Like when I first bought this RV and we started living in it, it was so wild to learn about the propane refrigerator, that a flame will keep your refrigerator cold. You know, it's like what?
Yeah,
And that's old technology. That's old technology.
Yeah. Oh, if you ever have a problem with your refrigerator and it stops cooling, what happens, especially like if it sits for a while, is the ammonia crystallizes. So if you pull your refrigerator out and turn it upside down for 24 hours, and as soon as you turn it upside down, you'll hear it start trickling, and then set it back up for 24 hours. I've done that like 3 times in different refrigerators, and it works to bring them back to life.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Provided you don't have any leaks. You know, if you get a leak, yeah, and the ammonia comes out, yeah, that's dangerous. You know, you don't want to breathe that stuff.
Yeah, that stuff is painful to breathe. I'm assuming that's the same ammonia that we would use on the floors when washing, cleaning.
Yeah, but probably a lot stronger.
So, with that in mind, I did have the thought a while ago to create a prototype air from water machine using the coil from one of these propane refrigerators, because my thought process is the same way the refrigerator works. Those coils, or where the gas goes through, is actually on the inside of the refrigerator. You know, there's a section where it goes from the outside to the inside, and when it's on the inside is when you see it frosting up, right, getting cold. So my thought is, if you had that in, you know, a box or something, not a refrigerator box, but just have it in a box where you could collect that condensation, that might work for creating water. Just a simple gas system, but with a much larger radiator. You know, you need the surface area. So I don't know, maybe pumping the ammonia. Maybe if the ammonia is pumping and circulating quickly through it, I don't really know, but that was one idea for making a machine.
That would be cool to hook it up to your biodigester, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's an idea.
Necessity is the mother of all inventions, that's for sure.
Yeah, it is.
I started making a hydrogen generator. I kind of got stalled out. Sometimes drilling through those stainless steel plates, you get some hard spots in that stainless. Man, it's not cheap buying those freaking cobalt bits.
Yeah.
You know. But I've got a Predator generator out here. It's 8750, and I'm going to convert it to run on hydrogen. And my generator is going to be whole house filters made out of plastic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. go with that in case there's a backfire or something. It just blows up the plastic and doesn't set off an atom bomb,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
grenade. you know.
I think I've had a similar thought with using hydrogen. My thinking was that I could make a hydrogen generator to work efficiently enough off of my solar to produce gas for cooking, heating, and lighting as well. Hydrogen gas.
Yeah, yeah.
Because with
The main
hydrogen
thing is just
gas,
running it through a burper. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, and I have those because I
I
have a
powered
machine
a
now for making
yeah.
hydrogen brown gas, and so yeah, we got the jar with water that the tube goes into to prevent any flashback from happening. The water is the arrestor, stops it from traveling.
Yeah,
Keep from
yeah.
destroying your machine.
We was it 2019? We had we called it Snowmageddon, and where I was living at, we had so much snow that it just took out all the trees and took down all the power lines. We were without power for 18 days. So I had a generator that ran on propane, and I converted it to run on hydrogen, and I was making the hydrogen with sodium hydroxide and aluminum cans, and I ran it to an inner tube for a bladder, and ran the house on that.
Yeah, that's cool. That was
Yeah,
great.
it was only a 110 generator, but that
It gave you the power you needed.
yeah, they kept our refrigerators and stuff going. You know what I mean? We could watch TV or whatever, keep our phones charged.
Yeah, no, exactly. So yeah, I like the idea because
I like that on-demand hydrogen. I think it's a lot safer than having volume of it. Less chances of combustion or explosions.
yeah, that's what I was thinking also, is just having an on-demand hydrogen generator.
Yeah.
Because if you take hydrogen gas and you have a little torch, a little hydrogen flame, and you get a piece of catalytic converter, and you put a hydrogen flame on that will make an incredibly bright light. I mean, I don't know how many hundreds or thousands of watts of light that you get from a small hydrogen flame. Not even pure hydrogen and oxygen, Brown's gas. Yeah, on a piece of catalytic converter. Because of the minerals, I mean the metals, the precious metals in there. And we're in conjunction with the ceramic that it's made of, just creates this incredibly bright light. And yeah, so anyway, I got a bunch of ideas.
I wonder if that light could be used in for growing.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know what light spectrum it's coming off of that. That would have to be tested to see. But I had one of the ideas I had, like I've said before, I've had many. One of the ideas I had was basically making like old gas lanterns, like they used to have in the olden days. How is this happening?
Wow. It's cold out. Why's your internet heating up? I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you got your beanie on. Yeah. Yeah. My wife and I, we live in our motorhome too, as I'm developing our property. And man, I tell you what, I love these little buddy heaters. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the terracotta pot candles work really good too. Yeah. 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 Oh, it does. Yeah, we got tile floor in the kitchen bathroom area before the bedroom, and boy, I tell you, it gets cold. There's many times I've had to go out there and take like one of them little electric porcelain heaters and put it on my plumbing to get the water flowing. So, uh, and do like a radiant flooring. Oh, yeah,
Okay. Can you hear me now? Is the question. Can you hear me now? Okay, we'll find out if they can hear me on YouTube's. So, let me see. I can pull up. Let me see if I could pull up. Where did I get it from? Supply warehouse. Supply warehouse. Let's see.
yeah. Eventually, I want to start making my own YouTube videos and building my thing too. The only video I have out is me running code enforcement with sheriffs off my property.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They seem to have left me alone now.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I think they finally figured out how powerful a land patent is.
So how long have you had the land patent?
I got the land patent in 2020.
Okay.
It's a pretty simple deal to get it. I could walk you through on how to obtain your land patent over the phone, Harry.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you just send off for a certified copy of it, and then you gotta do your title search and do a chain of title, and bring it forward. As long as you have a grant deed. If you don't have a grant deed, then you have to go back to the grant deed. You got to change from a warranty deed or a free service deed back to a grant deed. and then you can bring it forward from that point on.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because I learned about that a while ago.
And the nice thing about it is you don't have to pay no property taxes, and you don't need no building permits.
Yeah, I know. I was aware of that. I went in foolishly to my, whatever, the building department or land people here, taxes and everything, and mentioned land patent, and they weren't even trying to hear anything about land patents.
Oh no, they straight up told me that they are illegal in California. I said, no, you're a fat mouth liar.
Right.
and they tend to refuse to record anything about land patents. So I'll tell you what I did privately, not over the internet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, but that's definitely good stuff to have, good info, and it's something I've thought about as well.
Yeah, they're not that difficult.
Screen is black.
Now, there's certain areas in the United States you can't get one. I was told in Missouri you can't get one, and I think that's because that property still falls under it's Indian land. So, and then a perfect example, Ron DeSantis, that schmuck in Florida.
Yeah.
He was wanting to make Disney pay taxes, but he got shut down because they have a crown patent.
A crown patent?
Yeah.
That sounds like
most
something
of your properties. Well, most of your properties east of the Mississippi all fall under crown patents. West of the Mississippi fall under land patents. And then in Texas is a totally different thing altogether because Texas never gave up their land rights.
Right. Oh wow, that's interesting. So they had a crown patents.
Yeah, Ron Gibson. He's the authority on land patents. He's up here out of Oregon, Grand Pass, Oregon. I have his book. It's pretty inexpensive. It's like $45-$50 online, or you could order the book, and he breaks it down step by step on what to do.
Okay.
He's given me a lot of advice on how to defend my property against the tyrant governments. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's all there is now. Is tyrant governments.
Yeah, and they're not even governments; they're corporations.
Right.
Thank you, Abraham Lincoln.
So I'm trying to pull up an order to show you the idea about the heating.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't want to track package. Let's see.
Yeah, when I build my dome, I want to use 8-inch block, 8-inch thick block. So that'll give me close to like R48 installation value.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Speaking of chemtrails, they're already hitting us today. Bastards.
Yeah, they certainly love to hit us every day. I'm surprised on the days I don't see any in the sky. It's so rare not to see them.
Yeah, it's I get a warm butterfly feeling in my stomach when I actually see real clouds.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I remember those when I was a kid.
Okay, so let me see. I guess I'll share
You learn
this.
anything, FJ?
Share. Okay, so here is a video. Oh, this is not the video I was thinking of. Okay. Um, so you see this kick space heater on my screen?
Uh-huh.
Let's see.
Hey, it's Emily.
Like under your cabinet or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is this is a heating unit that goes under the cabinet. And it has the squirrel cage there to blow air, and then it has the inlet and outlet to let hot water in and out. You see there's an inlet and an outlet, or outlet and inlet, whichever way it goes. So what I'm intending on doing now to get away from the Mr. Buddy heater, because we have pets and they like to throw things in front of the heater.
Yeah.
So that's an open flame. Another thing
No,
is
it is, yeah.
the
Our cat tends
gases, the gases from the propane. Like, I don't know if they were adding or did something different to the gas, to the additives, but it had a really funky smell this year that I didn't have previously from burning.
Yeah, we don't have that issue with ours, and we have all our O2 sensors in the motorhome. Those things go off pretty easily, and that little buddy, it doesn't discharge any O2 at all.
So my thought now is using my tankless hot water heater, going to a manifold that has, because I got everything I needed to do radiant floor heating, but I'm far from installing that in the house. So what I figured is, since I have all the equipment, I would build a system to give us heat in the dome and in the RV. So the Mr. Buddy heater uses X amount of gas per minute, right?
Yeah.
You have so much fuel that's burned per minute or per hour, whatever the rating is.
Yeah. I get you. Once you got the hot water heated, it just recirculates, and you're using way less propane that way. Yeah, that's smart. Uh huh. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Nice. Now, what what Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. What kind of power do you need to move that squirrel? Oh, okay. Uh-huh. Yeah. Power. Yeah. Ooh, God bless me. Excuse me.
Hungry.
Yeah. 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 I'm really fond of these split systems. They work really good too. And they'll run off of solar. A lot of people take and put those in their RVs and stuff, and just have the solar run the split systems for the AC and the heat. That's what I was thinking about doing in one of my domes was a split system. Yeah, yeah, it's electric that you know pretty much you can run off your solar. I know you have plenty of solar. You know. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh no, yeah, that's not good then. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. You have any of those? You have any of those jackeries? Like a jackery, solar charger or charge controller thing that works as a power outlet. Yeah. Yeah, it did.
I'm sick of this overheating nonsense. I don't know why this camera does that. One, two, 1, 2. Can you hear me now? Okay. Hopefully.
Camera's back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, how about now? Do you hear me on YouTube's?
I think they do.
Let's see. My image is frozen also on YouTube.
Yeah, I was streaming to the TV and it just went all blank.
Oh, there we go. Nonsense. No sound. Yes. Okay. Okay, YouTube is definitely delayed. Well, anyway, I'll just talk, I think.
I'm streaming.
Okay, looks like we're back up. Yeah, so anyway, that was an idea I have for heating that I'm planning on building the unit here. I'll be making a video and demonstrating it and showing it, and so that'll be
No, that sounds like a good idea, Eric.
yeah, thanks. And it's like I said, I looked it up. I don't remember what the specs are, but I looked up Mr. Buddy heater and how much propane it uses, and then I looked up the tankless hot water heater and how much propane it uses, and because of the idea of using a manifold and being able to separate that heat to multiple areas or multiple rooms, it just makes a lot more sense. Not only that, I was having a lot of trouble with my Mr. Buddy heater with the flame going out by itself. And it has that little sensor in the bottom. It has that pilot flame. And if the pilot flame...
You got to keep those things clean.
Yeah, if the pilot flame is not touching the sensor, the Buddy heater would just go off. And that was driving me nuts. And so, and my thing was clean. It was just, as far as I'm concerned, a manufacturing issue. So my workaround was to take a piece of aluminum foil. I rolled it into a little tube and stuck it into the pilot hole where the flame comes out. So what I essentially did was move the flame closer to the sensor by making a little tube with the aluminum foil that the gas can go through. So that was my workaround. It worked great. Like, it worked so good. My flame never cut off again by itself after I did that. And I got 2 Mr. Buddy heaters. And so with that little aluminum foil hack, that fixed both of them. Now the only drawback to it is it wouldn't start the way it's intended to start with the switch, because the little arc can't ignite the flame, so I have to start it with a lighter. But otherwise, like during the winter, I'm almost never turning the Mr. Buddy heater off. I either lower it or turn it up, but I don't turn it completely off, not if we're in the house when it's cold out. What's up, Victor? How's it going? So yeah, so that's my hack for the Mr.
Hi,
Buddy.
Harry. Good to see you, Harry.
Thanks, Victor. Glad you're able to join us. And anyone else on YouTube, if you'd like to join the Zoom call, just click on the link in the description box below. Or maybe I could put it in the chat window also. Let's see how that works. Chat window. So Victor, you looking to build something yourself, or got something built?
Oh, I'm looking to build, but it'll be probably some smaller outbuilding type structure, because I'm in Canada and the regulations are pretty tight on any dwelling. So trying to get past the permitting process would be rather daunting. I mean, I'm sure I could get it through an engineering thing, but I don't know what the cost of that would be.
Yeah,
It might be worth it. It might be worth it getting the stuff, okay by an engineer, but yeah.
Yeah, well,
I'm quite there yet. I'm thinking more. There's plenty of outbuilding ideas for homestead type locations, so I think that's where I would be starting anyway.
you're right. The good thing about the system I use is it'll usually be approved by any structural engineer, because the engineer will know, the safety of reinforced concrete cement. And because I had R value testing done to Aircrete and Epic and Styro Aircrete mixes, so I have licensed R value engineer paperwork for using those different cement insulations mixes on a structure. So a dome being one of the strongest shapes you could build, and then using concrete, which is the ideal material for a dome because it's constantly under compression, reinforced, and then with the Aircrete or Epic mix on top of that as a layer of insulation. I can't see you not being approved in Canada for a structure like that, because it'll be safe, and for you it'll be inexpensive and fast to build. And I got a few buddies in Canada, depending on where you are, that are really good at building domes.
Oh, cool. Where do you know where?
I forget which part of Canada. I think it's like in the middle of the country. So wherever mid Canada would be, it's not like Ontario or any of the really big cities.
Yeah, I'm a bit on the western side of things. So
yeah.
Did you find that the Styro Aircrete stuff would be like the the highest per inch R value for a place like Canada with our lovely cold that we've got now.
Yeah. The styro aircrete of the 4 samples I had tested did the best. Let me see if I could find my R value results here. Okay, here it is.
Sorry for the background sound. He's pouring coffee.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, let me share this.
Good.
So, on the screen here is the R value results for the 4 samples I had tested. And you can see the styro aircrete did the best at 2.04 per inch R value. Now, a big thing to remember with these structures, first off, the whole R value thing is a bunch of nonsense. But because this is the way the governments are running, we gotta abide by the nonsense. So, in other words, technically in Canada, you're probably supposed to have like a R30 for your roof, or even probably R40 for your roof insulation, and probably like R15 to R25 for your walls. You know, so obviously if you were to do that with styro aircrete, you know, you can determine how many inches you would need to make it thick. Now, the thing with these structures are they work very different than traditional stick frame homes. And the fact that, number one, it's a dome, right? So your air circulation is much different in a dome than it is a standard stick frame square structure. Also, building your dome with reinforced concrete, right, up to 2 inches thick on your interior structure. So let's say you inflate an airform, you put your rebar and your wire mesh on there, and then you spray that up to 2 inches thick. This is thermal mass. Regular homes don't have thermal mass. So this is why the whole R value thing doesn't really jive, because I'm in a dome that's built, it's 3 inches thick, and we got no problems in that dome. Like during the winter time, it's nice and toasty in there.
Do you get how cold do you get there, Gary?
The coldest I've seen. Hold on, did I lose camera again?
Yeah, you lost camera.
Oh, you did there, yeah.
On YouTube, you did.
The inside of your home, and then you have your insulation on the outside of it, you would have a structure that would outperform most homes around, because during the winter that 2-inch thick concrete will be absorbing the heat that you produce, and then it'll begin to radiate that heat back out into the room, where the insulation on the outside of that structure of your shell, reinforced shell, will keep the cold from getting to your thermal mass on the inside. So it's really efficient. You don't technically need to build like a 10-inch thick wall, you know, trying to get R20 out of it. You can still have a really efficiently heating and cooling system with less insulation than your government or your county is going to require you to have. But either way,
I think beyond the requirement, I think what's happened here with the building codes instead of building, like the custom built homes now, they're targeting something on the order of like an R60 ceiling or roof, and probably not too far below that for the walls, like a R40.
Right.
So that's sort of like a standard construction, right? So, but if you went R60, that would be like a 30-inch. Let's say the thermal mass takes some off of that. I mean, is there an issue with doing like a 2-foot thick styro Aircrete on top of the shell? It should handle that.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no issue at all doing that, other than the cost of materials to make it that thick. So, yeah. But this is what you'll have to deal with to make everything meet code that they require to go according to the R value engineer results. Your engineer who you find will require you to make it as thick as the R value says. But the good thing is it's going to be a structure that's going to outlast everything else around it, because it's made of concrete. It's a dome. It'll probably last centuries.
Right.
The insulation, once it's done, is just going to give you that much more of a barrier between you and the outside weather, or whatever storm there might be.
When you're applying that styro Aircrete to the outside, like how do you keep it from just not flowing away? Like once you have the inner shell built.
Yeah, so it's just I didn't apply the styro Aircrete. I applied the Epic, which is very similar. The difference is the paper. The Epic has, the difference is everything. The styro Aircrete is made with styrofoam and Aircrete. The Epic is made with cement, styrofoam, and paper. So with the styro Aircrete, you would just probably make it so that it's tacky. You got, when you're mixing it, you want it to be very sticky, so it sticks to itself, no problem. Because if it's not tacky enough, if it doesn't have, like ideally when making it, I haven't discussed this in the videos, but you would want to mix a latex adhesive, some type of latex bonding agent. You would mix into the styrofoam, so that the styrofoam beads are coated in latex. That'll make them sticky. And then you would mix that with the Aircrete, and you'd have something that's be easier to apply onto a surface. Now, the main issue with the styro Aircrete is that it's so fluffy, and it was really made to be compacted into a wall cavity. So to apply it onto a surface, you would have to take your time and do it in layers. I don't really know how much you could apply at one time. Like, I have the experience with the Epic where I made a ball of Epic, about this big, before applying it onto the wall of the dome I was building. Because I was trying to get the thickness I needed by making just a ball and then smearing it on, or rather troweling it onto the dome.
Is it possible? At one point you had a design where you had, I think you had like an inner shell and an outer shell built, and then you'd fill that cavity in between, right?
Yeah, that's the double shell Aircrete dome, and that one's really good too. That one's, I like that one a lot because you don't need styrofoam. So if you had trouble getting styrofoam that you could recycle and shred yourself, then the double shell Aircrete dome, I think, is really good, because you're basically building a form. That's what the double shell is. You're building a form that you could fill with Aircrete, and I think that's great. It's simple. It's a fast technique, and I like the double shell Aircrete dome a lot. because it really is simple and it really is fast. You're not dealing with bricks. I'm not a fan of bricks because of all the time it would take you to make the bricks. Say you only got one form and you can make, I don't know, just 12, 20 bricks a day, and you need 2,000 bricks to finish one dome. So that's how long of a period you're looking at making bricks, letting it, firm up so that you could separate it and actually use the bricks the next day. So
I
whereas
definitely like the monolithic much more than brick style.
yeah, I mean, me too, because now we're going from bricks to 2 airforms that could be sprayed in the same week, because I've done it already and showed it on video. You could literally be done within a week. And then you're just filling in that cavity with, at this point, now you can use Aircrete to fill the cavity, make a very light mix. Or you could do the styro Aircrete, because like I mentioned before, ideally you want to compact that stuff in. So you could make a styro Aircrete, or you could do something completely different, Like I've had ideas of just filling the cavity with straight styrofoam. Just blowing styrofoam in, and then after that pouring in a liquid Aircrete mix and just letting that seep through everything. Very liquidy Aircrete mix, because Aircrete's already very liquidy. So just pour it in. Like, I like that idea a lot, because now you can almost use a piece of styrofoam as a gauge. So if a 2-inch styrofoam has like R15, whatever it is. Yeah. I'm just throwing out a number. And then you make a wall that's a foot thick with a lot of shredded styrofoam. You can imagine you're getting at least an R30 out of it, right? You're using the same material. It's going to have a lot more pockets of air in it because it's styrofoam balls. And so in between the balls is all air. And then you're going to put Aircrete in there just to cement.
Yeah, I don't even know if you need the Aircrete in there, because you got the 2 shells. You have, I think, better insulation value by just leaving the air in between. Oh, I see. Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah, the styrofoam, it's not really the material, it's the air that's trapped in it. That's the insulation, right? It's like all these materials, it's the air that's trapped in it more than the material itself, right? But
right.
Harry, question for you. Like when you build those double shells, you do the inner shell first, right?
Right.
And then you put the outer shell on, but like in the original domes that you were building with the tieback and stuff, like do the shells just remain in place, right? When you do the double shell, because you can't really get in, you can't get into that cavity to get your shell back, right?
Well, those shells are meant to be used once, those tieback airforms. But I do have a customer in Australia who built a double shell Aircrete dome, and she came up with a hot wire cutter. So the second airform that would have been stuck in between the 2 shells, because the first one you remove from the inside of the dome, because that's on the inside. The second one would be between the 2 domes, so you couldn't get to it. So what she did was she ran a wire a wire around the base of it. And so once she was finished building the second shell, she plugged in a heater to heat the element up, made it a hot wire cutter. And so that wire got hot enough to cut through the plastic that she was using. I was using Tyvek, she used a plastic. And so she was able to cut through and pull the plastic out. So you don't have to leave it in there if you don't want. It's
that's pretty genius.
Yeah, that was really good. I thought that was a good idea as well. So let's see, I lost video.
I have a question for you, Harry.
Yeah, what do you got?
When I was first looking into building my place here, they knew about monolithic guns, the typical gun icons, and they kept telling me that that I'd have to have a sprinkler system, because we're out here in California, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, why do I need a sprinkler system for a structure that is fireproof? And then they tried to tell me that, well, in case some of your furniture burns up inside, well, if my couch catches on fire, let it burn.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things out here is that they want you to have $30,000 sprinkler system in your house.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and typically they run off of your well anyway. And if you have a fire, most of the time you're not going to have power.
There's a guy that built a dome place in California. I don't know if you've seen those YouTube videos. I think the guy's name was Ed Kona, and now he's in Hawaii because by the time he was done, he had so much regulatory compliance stuff to do to build his place.
Yeah,
he had to put the sprinkler in. Then he only had one little spot where they could get the septic in, and then for that to meet code for California was absolute insanity. So
it is. This is why I did a workaround. I acquired my land at my property.
Yeah, I don't. The problem I think in Canada is we don't have these kind of remedies.
Yeah, well, you guys have crown patents up there, but they're a little different than they are here in the States.
Yeah.
So it might not work for you guys up that way. But you can acquire your crown patent.
Oh yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, so the guy ended up on his YouTube channel. He ends up building a place and paying like tens of thousands of dollars, like repeatedly, to get the septic approved, the sprinkler inspected and approved, and all this stuff. And then at the very end, he sells it and he moved to Hawaii.
It's smart.
Yeah. He was so pissed off by the end of it.
Yeah. Once you let these local governments get their teeth into you, they're nothing more than vampires.
Yeah. They kept paying him for more permits and stuff. There's no end in sight, so he finally got it. He finally pushed through. And I think the other thing too was the length of the project. Project took him, so much longer than he had ever anticipated, and mostly due to the permits, right?
Yeah, they don't like you extending permits, and if you do, then they're going to get this cut from you.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, anyway, this was my second time doing this call. I figured it'd be fun to do this. I think I gotta pick a good day and good time where we can have some more people join in and chit chat about whatever. I figured Figured this would be
Well,
fun.
Harry, what they do, what some people do is they put a live show YouTube thing on, and it says upcoming. Please notify me.
Yeah, yeah,
And then people know that it's going to happen in the future. I
yeah. I
think that's
know.
one of the.
Mrs. Aircrete told me to do that last night, but I didn't.
Yeah. So I think that'd be the best, Harry, because if you say, hey, we're going to do this next, Thursday evening or something, right? Then people can set the time aside and join the call.
Yeah. I mean,
You know what I mean?
I was trying today, just assuming people would be home on Sunday morning. But I guess a lot of people going to church to turn this country around. So.
Well, or they're still in bed
Exactly.
because they partied too much last night.
Well, hopefully we got more of the church people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I just think it's a matter of enough days of heads up, and then it'll open the calendar up for people, right? Like if it's same day or next day, it's kind of quick for people to like, oh yeah, I had all these plans, and now I'm gonna miss it. But it's a lot easier if it's like next Thursday or something, right? And then it's like, oh yeah, no problem. I can put an hour aside for that,
And see if we can.
What kind of camera are you using that you're having issues with, Harry?
It's a brand new Sony DSLR, and yeah, I'm surprised it's getting this stupid overheating issue. It's not even that hot in here. So I don't know. I'll look into it.
Oh yeah, Harry, on your consulting thing that you're talking about before on an earlier one, I was going to say that there was two points of really good value. One is just your input on something, right? Because of your experience. And the other one is on the expensive equipment, right? And the consulting bit, you could even do remotely to a degree, right? You could help people with designs, with some details of the construction method, and all of these things, so that it goes easier for them and whatnot. That could be, that could just be a hourly kind of thing. And then if you had a list of like equipment that you could make available, and be present, and then that would be a different rate, right? But that's, I think that'd be awesome. Two-pronged approach. One would be the full on-site kind of thing. That's pretty limited to your availability to travel, be in different places, so on and so forth. Right? But the remote consult is also valuable, right? Like I might come up with a design that might have some really cool things that I think are cool. But you might look at it and go, wait a minute, you're going to run into a problem building this, right?
Yeah, so, actually, I offer that now. I have the online consultation where we do the phone call, or now what I'm doing instead of phone calls. Oh my God, this camera.
Sure. Right.
And do the floor plans, and oh my, this camera is.
Hey, Harry.
Right.
Harry. Do you have a copyright trademark yet on your name and products and stuff? Awesome. You got to protect yourself that way.
Yeah, we're trademarked. All right. So anyway, I think I'm gonna end this here. Ralph, I definitely want to talk to you later about.
Yeah, I sent you an email.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Thanks for joining me on this Zoom call, and the future one will be announced so that people can be aware that it's happening and join in, and we can talk about whatever, builds, movies. All right, guys.
Thank you for putting this together. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure.
Good to see you again.
Thanks.